About 2 years ago, I bought a box of as-is consoles without any idea if any of them worked or really what was even in that box, but with the promise of cheap consoles and maybe one of them working, I bit. But for 50 bucks, I wasn't gonna say no. So far, that box has yielded me a now working PS1 Slim and a pile of broken dreams. However, inspiration came from an unexpected source, and the garbage NES that came in the box was indeed not destined for the landfill, but for a complete rebirth. So if you've watched the channel before, you may have noticed a partially broken NES sitting over here in my lovely console wall, which just got a huge glow up, shout out to my wife, with a much better sense of design than I have. And you may have thought, that's an odd reason to display an NES with no door and no controller and seemingly no functionality. And you'd be right, that was a weird choice. Quick side note, if this is your first time on the channel, hey, I'm Coulter, and on this channel we cover console mods and weird tech upgrades and retro stuff, so if that sounds like you, be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss some of the weird projects I have coming up on this channel. Now, I was decently content leaving the NES just sitting there, knowing it was broken and basically garbage, but at least it completed the collection and the whole linear Nintendo chronology thing I have going on there. But that is when an angel named Pierre from Magitech appeared in my inbox one day saying, hey bro, Magitech provides parts and tools for console restoration and repair. Is that of interest to you? And boy was I interested, Pierre. Thanks for asking. So I chatted with him in email and let him know everything that was wrong with this NES and what I'd tried so far, and Magitech very kindly sent me all the parts that I should need to get it up and going, which was awesome. So I sat down at my soldering bench and figured, cool, it's probably gonna be like the original Xbox or the PS1 and just swap a couple of capacitors, maybe a little chip random thingy here and there, and then bada bing, it'll work, right? Right? Well, after multiple attempts at the workbench, I was pretty stumped by this NES. I'd tried multiple things, soldering parts, unsoldering parts, putting parts back, and I'm okay at soldering. I'm not really great at like circuit board troubleshooting and like multimetering from here to here to here to here to here. Like, I'm not Stez Tech Fix, which shout out to Stez, love your stuff. But I try, okay? And I try to follow directions well. And Pierre from Magitech was super nice to send me instructions and troubleshooting tips via email, trying to help me move this thing along. And now, I don't know if this is a service that Magitech necessarily offers. They're free to comment on this video and let you know. But at some point during this email correspondence, either my situation or my ineptitude, one of the two, seemed to spark Pierre's curiosity. Because at some point, I get an email back that effectively said, hold my beer, bro. Just send me the NES. Well, I wasn't gonna argue with someone who's vastly more experienced at fixing consoles than me, and so I happily packed it up and sent it off to the good man. And that's when things got a little weird. Now real quick before I move on, as you can tell, Pierre over at Magitech and all the team over there are absolutely wonderful people, and so if you have any sort of console repair needs or parts or whatever, I would definitely recommend checking out their site, and you can use the link in the description for 10% off or promo code Coulter Peterson, and that'll also get you 10% off whatever's on their site that you might need. So definitely check them out. Really appreciate Magitech making this video happen. So thankfully, I was not completely inept at trying to fix this NES, because first things first, Pierre tried the same things he told me to do. And he was like, huh, that is weird. Yeah, the video just kind of outputs garbage, even though the parts are in the right spots and we've got the right capacitors swapped out, and so like, what the heck? So then he took it a step further and gave it a nice little ultrasonic bath to make that circuit board nice and cozy and squeaky clean, and hopefully undo some of the crap that was on that board, because if we recall, it came out of a bin of just boards on boards mashed up for who knows how long in someone's basement. So I'm not sure that motherboard was treated with the most loving care, but alas, the spotlight for the circuit board brought us no improvement. After many hours of troubleshooting, he ended up repairing some ripped off connector pins that hopefully wasn't me. He swapped out all the capacitors with new ones, swapped out all the chips with new ones, and still the NES only displayed garbage on the screen. But then Pierre had a wonderful, awful idea. It was actually super cool. So Magitech just started selling these OpenTendo boards, which are basically reprinted circuit boards that follow the exact same design of the original NES circuit board. And Pierre proposed that we switch completely over to that new OpenTendo board because he started to find broken traces on the board, but they were real little buggers to find. And he'd already put a ton of hours into this thing. I was like, hey, that sounds freaking cool. Please, yes, save yourself the time and let's just use the cool OpenTendo board. As for the results of that final troubleshooting step, and apparently do multiple rounds of retrobright on the third-party door that I bought because it ended up being slightly darker than the NES shell. And I got it really close, but not quite, so hopefully it's not that noticeable now that it's on my shelf. But with all of that assembled, I'm now the proud owner of a complete, working, and basically brand new NES in the year 2025, which is crazy. Like, this console came out in like 88, 89. Now, some of you are currently humming sea shanties, and that's because you're thinking of the ship of Theseus, asking yourselves, hey, Coulter, if in this NES you replaced every capacitor, every chip, the whole circuit board, the door, the controllers, the cables, if all of those parts have been manufactured in this millennium, even within the last few years, can you really say that this is an original NES anymore? Now that's a very good question. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm just kidding, but I am actually curious to hear your answer to that. So let me know in the comments what you think on if this is an original or a 2025 rebuild or basically a fresh build of an NES, because when you remove the outer shell that I kept, you could technically just 3D print an exterior shell and make a brand new NES out of parts in 2025. And if that's a video you want to see, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, definitely consider subscribing. And again, if you have any console repair needs or anything of the sort, definitely check out Magitech in the link below. They are absolutely wonderful people, and I super appreciate their many, many hours of work they put into helping make this video happen. And if you like this video, maybe check out one of the videos on the screen because YouTube thinks you'll like them.